these Republican leaders were squirming on the weekend news shows as they were trying to justify why Donald Trump was breaking every single promise. Cost of goods, it's not going down. There's no peace in Ukraine right now. Housing is not more affordable. Let's look at these headlines, and I want to show you the disastrous appearances by these MAGA Republicans on the weekend shows. It was atrocious. So this is from the Wall Street Journal. Food prices are rising again. Bird flu and bad weather are helping drive up prices for groceries, making things complicated for families, companies, and Trump. I'm not really worried about the Trump part because he was the one who promised like a miracle he was going to just fix everything, which, by the way, was all heading in the right direction under President Biden. And now, based on Donald Trump's ridiculous and dangerous rhetoric, plans, executive orders, it's going in the opposite direction. But here's what the Wall Street Journal article says. It says, the specter of rising food prices is back. The cost of groceries in the U.S. increased 1.8% from a year earlier in December. It goes on to say how an uptick in the pace of food inflation presents a challenge for the incoming administration. Don't worry about them, Wall Street Journal. They said they had a magic wand and they were going to just fix everything. Why would this be a challenge? They have all of the plans, don't they? It says President-elect Donald Trump campaigned on consumers' frustration with inflation, though more recently has acknowledged it could be hard to cool the rise in grocery prices. Egg prices surge. They're heading to all-time highs, nearly $9 for a dozen eggs. So what is MAGA Mike Johnson saying about all of this? Oh, by the way, should I tell you two things in the backdrop of this too? Number one, Vivek Ramaswamy out at Doge before it even started. That's called a negative Scaramucci, right? Scaramucci at least lasted a little more than a week. Doge is basically already cratering and crashing. Vivek Ramaswamy has overstayed his welcome, according to sources that were close to Elon Musk and others at this fake made-up government agency. And also, while all of this is going on, while there's no peace in Ukraine, while prices are not going down, and all of Donald Trump's promises relies, Donald Trump and Melania were out there selling meme coins, which, by the way, over the weekend were crashing, disrupting the entire crypto market. But let's see, what does MAGA Mike Johnson have to say when he's asked on Meet the Press? So, does your legislation, the one that's focusing on helping the billionaires and oligarchs, does it have a plan to bring down grocery prices? MAGA Mike's like, well, very comprehensive. I don't know. A bunch of freaking word salad. Here, watch this.
But is there, bottom line, one piece of legislation targeted at bringing down grocery prices for the American consumer?
It's a complex collection of legislation because we got to unwind and fix everything. I was on the campaign trail all last year, traveling around the country. I logged enough miles to circle the globe 5.5 times. We kept the House majority, we won the Senate majority for the Republican Party, and we won the White House. And we told the American people that we would do well by them. And what I said on the campaign trail was, to summarize, we could be the most consequential Congress of the modern era because we have to fix everything. I mean, everything's a mess. So it's not just one switch that you flip back on. It's a number of them, and we have to make it all work together, and we will.
All right, let's talk about...
And then, by the way, MAGA Mike Johnson was asked by Kirsten Welker, can you commit that California disaster relief won't have strings attached? As Heather Thomas says, a gentle reminder that the minute we caught on fire, all of the California Republican representatives fled the state to go to Mar-a-Lago for a misinformation planning session with Donald Trump and Elon Musk, where they consistently lied about the suffering we were going through here in Los Angeles. But let's watch MAGA Mike Johnson with his frankly treasonous and traitorous response that he wants to condition aid on Donald Trump's priorities to help billionaires. It shouldn't be conditioned on anything. Here, play this clip.
California Governor Gavin Newsom wrote recently, he said, quote, there must be no conditions, no strings attached to disaster aid. And yet we know that there's a big conversation happening right now on Capitol Hill about linking disaster aid for California to an increase in the debt limit, which has been a traditionally really thorny issue. Are you and can you commit the California disaster relief won't have strings attached.
No, I won't commit that because we have a serious problem in California. Listen, there are natural disasters. I'm from Louisiana. We're prone to that. We understand how these things work. But then there's also human error. And when the state and local officials make foolish policy decisions that make the disaster exponentially worse, we need to factor that in, and I think that's a common sense notion. Listen.
Checking in on MAGA Republican Congress member Byron Donalds. What are you going to do, Byron? Well, Byron, in this interview on Fox, refers to Donald Trump as his daddy. And he goes, "Daddy is back. Daddy is back, everybody." I'm not making this up. This is incredibly weird and dangerous. Here, play this clip.
Sees the numbers. He'll figure a way to do it.
It's not just going to be that. I mean, when Americans see deportations or repatriations happen, they're going to be like, thank you. When they see the border closed, they're going to say, this is what I voted for. When they see peace starting to break out again around the world, they're going to be like, this is the stability that we were asking for. Daddy's back. And that's what you're going to see.
So what's Lindsey Graham saying about all of the broken promises from Donald Trump? What's Lindsey Graham saying on the weekend shows, for example, when he's asked about Donald Trump's incredibly dangerous cabinet picks? Lindsey Graham goes, "Can you stop being mean to Kash Patel and Tulsi Gabbard or people like that? You're being mean to Donald Trump. The media is the problem. The media is the problem." No, it's that Donald Trump is the rug-pulling president, okay? He's lying about everything. Promise after promise is just total and utter fraud. Everything you've said to the American people was fraud. And now we're in this horrific freaking Trumpian timeline with this idiot in chief because all of you don't have a single shred of spine. Play the clip.
You will never ask me the role he played in exposing the darkest moment of the FBI since J. Edgar Hoover. That's why I trust him.
Okay. Ask him about going after journalists, which he's also said. I'm interested in the answer to that question.
Yeah, I'm sure.
We'll be right back.
Sure Democratic friends will ask him, and you shouldn't worry about Kash Patel.
Okay.
You should worry about reporting the news fairly, which you don't do when it comes to everything Trump.
Lindsey Graham, you're a guest on this program because we wanted to hear you out. And we welcome you back, as we often do, anytime, to Legacy Media. We'll be right back.
Speaking of which, let's go back to MAGA Mike Johnson, who was asked, "So MAGA Mike, what's your view on pardoning violent January 6th insurrectionists who assaulted police officers?" Should be a pretty basic question, right? If you assaulted a cop, okay, you shouldn't get a pardon. No January 6th insurrectionist should get a pardon. But specifically, if we were going to have some nuance, and we shouldn't, the ones who assaulted the cops shouldn't get a pardon. Here, play this clip.
President-elect Trump, just to be clear, has said he's going to look at everyone. When I interviewed him, he said he's not ruling out anyone. So my question for you, would you oppose a pardon for someone who has pleaded guilty to assaulting a police officer?
Look, every case needs to be evaluated, as he said, but what President Trump is getting at is the lack of faith that people have right now in our system of justice. It was abused for the last few years, under the last 4 years under the Biden administration. The Department of Justice itself was weaponized. When the people lose their faith in our system of justice, that is what leads to all these other concerns. And President Trump's going to restore that. We're going to have new leadership.
Very quickly, we're almost out.
By the way, look how the UK tabloid, the Daily Star, is referring to Donald Trump on their cover. The orange man baby is a zombie. We're not 100% sure they're right, but 1 in 25 Brits insist that Donald Trump is a man baby zombie. I don't even know what to make of that. I'm not really sure the point of even showing you that, to be honest, but he's a man baby zombie. The level of rug pulling here. That's going to be the word. The rug pulling presidency right here. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 4 million subscribers. Thanks for watching.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.